All right then, let's see if we can get this one done. It will probably be a shorter video than usual, this one, which is, I suspect, no bad thing because I do tend to bang on a bit. But what we have here is a Rainbow Riches running on £35 ROMs. We've got Tommy C's very nice DX here. Now, this is a method that has always worked on the ROMs that this layout was released with. It just hasn't worked on the layout itself, because it was missing a couple of coin inputs that are required for this to work, because we have to put very specific amounts of money in to get this to work, and £1 coins will not cut it. So what I've done here is a very elegant and subtle piece of layout modification which will allow us to get the job done. In fact, let's just have a little look at that for a real top class solution. I would imagine that fruit machine manufacturers are looking at this and thinking why they didn't think of it first. Layout designers as well, you know, if you want to take some cues from this on how to achieve multiple coin inputs, I wouldn't mind if you steal this technique off me. I would imagine Pook, for example, is looking at this with envious eyes, and I would imagine that Wizard himself will probably be in touch shortly for some tips and hints on how to improve emulator design in the future, because this is fucking sensational, isn't it? Absolutely top-notch stuff, and it's no exaggeration to say that many seconds worth of effort have gone into that. What I'm actually getting at there is I couldn't easily work out how to do multiple coin inputs on one sort of lampy button type thing, so I just copied the component and then fiddled about with the coin settings until they did what I wanted them to do. So yes, it's not very pretty, but it works, and it allows us to do what we need to do for this. So first of all, first prereq for this to work is that the reels have to be in this position here, which is Jackpot on the win line, one above and on the win line. That's what's called the reel reset position. When you turn this machine on, they are the positions that the reels go in. Only once per power cycle. Once it's been played, obviously the reels will move around. So if you walk up to this machine and the reels are not in that position, you can't do the method, and that's no big problem if you can turn it off and on again, because then the reels will come round to that position. In my experience, it wasn't unusual to find the reels in this position, because it wasn't that unusual for you to be the first person who had played the machine that day. Now, I should state here that I never did these for real because they were all chipped. We had quite a few of these. These were a fairly popular machine over here. I don't particularly know why, but they turned up in some numbers on the £70 jackpot. Never saw one on the £35 jackpot. And Star Wars A New Hope, we had a couple of those as well. All on the £70 jackpot and all chipped. I never had one of these working. I have heard about this over the years. I've seen a couple of videos of it, but I've never been able to do it before. So that's what we're going to do in the emulator now. You can do it in the emulator as well, and you could probably do it far better than me if you've got half a clue about adding things to layouts, because all you need are a 50p coin input and a 10p coin input. So just for reference here, the bottom input here is a quid. That one there is 50p and that one there is 10p. We won't be using the quid one. We just want to be able to put 50p and 10p's in. And this is what you would do on the real machine if you had your reel reset position. So we put 50p in and we put another 30p in for a total of 80 pence. And that's very important because that is the price of the base game sort of credits, which is 30p, and the enhanced game credit cost, which is 50p. So we've got 80p. Now, by default, once the machine's been at rest for a bit, it'll go back to 30p a play. So it will always be on 30p a play if you come up to it when it's in a track mode. So the first thing that we have to do after we put our 80p in, we go up to 50p a go, and then we take a credit. So we take a spin, press start. Now, before we do anything else, you've got to get this order exactly right or it doesn't work. We change. Oh, and it's done it on the first one. Now, it doesn't always do that, of course, to be honest. Sometimes you have to do this many times, but it's just done it on the first one. You see that? The reels have just gone back to the reel reset position, which in and of itself would just be a curiosity. You could say, well, that's okay, but it doesn't really help us because all we can do here is press start. There's nothing else that we can do. So yeah, the jackpot's one away. So what? Watch this. You put another 50p in, and then you change stake, and believe it or not, this was a real thing on real machines. Barcrest left this shit in their code. Change stake. Oh my goodness me, you stupid thing. And that's it. Simple, as simple as that, if you can believe it. This was a thing. Now, you could gamble out for the... I've got a no-lose gamble there, but the problem with the mega streaks on these is that they take ages. And they tend to only go past by small amounts anyway. And the £35 repeater is, it's not a £35 plus £35 repeat chance. And if we put another 50p in, you'll see what it does. It just kind of dapples on the amounts here, so it can just go past a little bit, like the Mega Streak can anyway. So I've just done that for the sake of time, really. Oh, could I actually do it? Could I do it again? If I go up again, will it do it again? Oh my god, it's done it again. You absolute ridiculous stupid machine.
Go on, you will.
Now it doesn't always do that either. That's quite spawny to actually just get it twice on the trot. And that's another one. Well, that's splendid, isn't it? Oh, thank you very much. Well, that's the quickest 70 quid you'll ever make, isn't it?
You will. That's enough.
Now, if it does it again, theoretically... oh, I didn't take me 50p spin, so... Okay, so let's collect our 70 quid out. Now, Now, two things I should state for completeness here. First of all, it doesn't always do it on the first sort of stake switch. Sometimes you have to cycle round a few times for it to do that. Sometimes it can actually cost a few quid for that to happen. And the other thing that doesn't always happen by any stretch of the imagination is that when you stake switch back down, it will then just do the reset real position again. So we've seen two slightly unusual things there. So what you can do, if you had a real one of these, my understanding of this is, if you had a real one of these, what you can now do is, after you've collected your bank out, you can turn it off and on again to, of course, get your real reset position back. So if we're in a pub here, or an arcade, where we can turn this machine off, we can get down to the power switch on the plug socket, turn it off, leave it a few seconds, turn it back on again, we're going to get our real reset position, and we should be able to do that again. So let's give that a go here. My stats are okay. I'm 67 quid up already. So what we'll do is reset this machine and just see if we can have another cheeky one out of it. So here we are, one power cycle later. We're back in attract mode and we've got our real reset position back. So theoretically, we can just do the same thing again. We put in 80 pence. We then change stake up. We go to 50p, take a spin, change stake down, and see it hasn't done it the first time this time. So now what we have to do is go put another 50p in. You've got to get this in exactly the right order. We put another 50p in, just a 50p piece. We go up to 50p a go. We take a spin. And we change stake again. Now it hasn't done it. This is a bit more normal behavior. You would normally have to go through a few times. So go back up to 50p, take a spin, go down to 30p. And I think the critical point about this is that you mustn't take a spin on 30p. So you must just keep, and it's got to be one credit at a time. I'm not entirely sure why that has to be. It must be something to do with an amount that you've got to have in the bank. So something about that you effectively run out of credits on 50p. Then you change the stake down. As someone who never did the real thing, I can't speak as to why you have to do it in this very specific fashion. And this is okay. So it's arguably a bit more standard behavior here, and what you'd have to do is go round it a few times, and then eventually what will happen is, if you remember, it's this bit here when we press the change stake. So when we change stake down to 30p, that's when we know if it's done it or not. And as soon as it doesn't do it, we then know that we're going to have to go round again and put another 50p in. So let's just see if we can get it to do it one more time, because frankly, that's about all there is to it. If you look at, if you saw the Star Wars A New Hope video, the method of trapping that was some. Now, I don't think that matters as long as we don't collect anything. I don't think that what happens on the 50p game, I don't think influences the ability of it to do the setup when you switch down to 30p. I don't know, in all honesty, if you can actually collect anything on the 50p game. So if it does just spin a win in, as it did there, I honestly don't know if you can collect that and it doesn't affect it, and it can still do the sort of the reset reels setup. I don't want to take that chance, though. I guess it's something that you could test easily enough. I might test it myself, actually. So let me just remember here. See, the problem is when I start gabbing, I tend to I don't think I've got the order wrong here, have I? Let's have a look. Don't think I've pressed anything in the wrong order. Just remember, to try this yourself, all you'll need to do is add a couple of coin inputs in. That's the only thing you need to do for this to work on this layout, sort of as downloaded, is you just need the ability to put 50p's and 10p's in. So it's done that again. So now I have to change state down to 30p. And I can't say categorically and definitively if the fact that it's actually spun something in on 50p has kind of busted it. I don't know the exact specifics of the state it needs to be in for this to work. It's certainly playing far harder to get now, isn't it? Unless I've made a mistake, because I've been kind of yammering at the same time. I may have pressed a button in the wrong order. In which case, it's never going to happen, because if you've... I haven't taken a 30p spin or something like that, have I? But, okay, I'm having to put quite a few pounds in, though, for it to do it again. Did I make a mistake? I don't know. Okay. Well, I'll just... maybe I did do something wrong. I mean, it can take a little while, but shouldn't be. I don't think it should be this long. Is it just not going to do it now? Has something been pressed in the wrong order? 50p. Okay, could potentially... not quite sure. Was that was it Einstein's definition of insanity is repeating the same thing time and time again and expecting different results? Let's have a look. I don't think I've got anything. I wouldn't like to say for absolutely certain that I haven't got something wrong here, because it is going on a bit, this, isn't it? No, then we put 50p in. Well, it's not really happening here, is it? Maybe I should reset it again. Oh, couple more. Maybe I've got something wrong. Oh, there, no, right, okay, it can take a while. So you saw two extremes there. I mean, the first one was what? The first time it did it, it was literally like the first time I changed stake, and now that did take a few quid, didn't it? But, nonetheless, it will now do this. And we've got well, shall we have we'll have a mega streak. We'll have a mega streak for the sake of it. So I think on the first round, I won like 68 quid. I think there must have been 68 pounds or something like that on there. £67.20, I think I said, didn't I? And then plus whatever I've won on this. Now, admittedly, you can see there, I was really starting to think I'd done something wrong there, but as it happened, it was just being an absolute bugger about it. Would be better, I guess, on a £70 jackpot. There were £70 ROMs for all of these machines. That was Rainbow Riches, Star Wars, and Rob the Bank. There were £70 ROMs where this was a worker. So if you were getting a £70 jackpot out of it, that would be particularly juicy. But even for 35 quid, it's worth it, isn't it? So, and then we take it. Oh, that okay. I mean, I can't imagine it's going to shut. Yeah, okay. So there we are. That's fine. So I haven't won so much on this one. I've won like another 8 quid. So overall, I'm £75 up. I couldn't state. I do not know if these are free wins or accounted for. I guess what you'd have to do, like I say, is do it a few times, get the machine, over percentage by quite a bit, and then see what kind of state of play it was in normal play, see how long it took you to get a jackpot. But that there is pretty good. I mean, what are the long... In fact, well, are they the long-term stats of this thing? Yeah, well, okay, well, you can see the long... I mean, it hasn't had much money from a RAM reset, this thing. So you can see that there are its stats from a RAM reset. It's running at 145%, 150 quid out, £103 in. So obviously it will allow it to happen when it's well over percentage. So that suggests to me that I could just go round again and do this one more time. So in fact, I'll do it one more time. I'll pause it though. I'll just do it one more time out of my own curiosity. So I'll pause the video so we don't have to watch all that stake switching stuff again. Yeah, this really doesn't want to do it now. And I've just made a mistake as well. I've gone round, God knows how. You can see I've put nearly 35 quid in from the last jackpot and it hasn't done it again. That suggests to me, God knows what weird trickery is going on in the code here, but it seems to me that it does need to have some value in it, because I just went round, well, to have put nearly 40 quid in, I think I just went round it about 70 or 80 times and it didn't do it. So that would suggest to me this was maybe once on a £70 jackpot per real reset. Maybe you could go round twice on 35 quid. It doesn't seem to me as if it's a full empty, because you saw in full how long the second one round took, and now I'm officially in loss trying to go for it again. So even if it actually, well, it can't do it now because I've got the bloody order wrong, but even if it would have done it at that point, I would have been down on that cycle, as it were. So it looks to me like this is a do it once on 70 quid, maybe twice on 35 quid, and that'll be a lot, and then maybe you had to leave it for a bit, I don't know. But anyway, you saw it early doors, you saw it do it very, very easily for the first one, make it hard work for the second one, and yeah, the third one, it just doesn't seem to be having it at all. But there you go, that is Superhold on Rainbow Riches. Also works on Star Wars A New Hope and Rob the Bank as far as the £70 jackpot, if you can believe that. This was real code in real fruit machines, and these were being done by players. So there you go, that is the Superhold on Rainbow Riches. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I would hope to see you next time.